is Johanna, and this is my introduction answering question 1. Have you met any nerd fighters in real life? I met quite a few nerd fighters actually. The first ones being on a Harry Potter gathering in Sweden. On every Harry Potter gathering there's always a handful of nerd fighters, and they're always very nice. And I went to a YouTube gathering in London and also another nerd fighter gathering that was also in London, and Maureen Johnson's book signing I went to for The Name of the Star. There I met a bunch of nerd fighters, and also when I lived in London I met other of my friends who turned out to be nerd fighters. If you could live in any home from a television series, which would it be and why? Am I allowed to say Hogwarts? It's not really a television series. I would love to live in a Slytherin common room. I don't know if you've read the description of it on Pottermore, but you can hear the lake lapping against the windows because you can actually look out and see the lake. And I mean, really, the whole description is just so nice, and I want to visit at least. If you could be any fictional character, which would it be and why? I wouldn't like to live someone else's life just like that, or I would love to attend Hogwarts, but I would still want to make my own decisions, so I wouldn't really want to be a specific character. Maybe I could be a Slytherin student who isn't really mentioned in the books, and I get to design my own life completely. I would love to attend Hogwarts at the same time as Voldemort and be his friend, if that's allowed as an option. Voldemort's friend who you never really heard anything about. What's your favorite book? I've kind of got two favorite books. The first one being a Swedish book, Let the Right One In. When I first started reading this one, I'd read only English books for ages. Still, I basically only read English books at the moment because, I don't know, I want to read them in their original language, and yeah, I just end up reading more English books than Swedish ones. And then I read this one, and it was so good, and I think I can relate more to it because it's in Swedish. No, it's horrible and it's insane. I mean, there's characters going insane, but it's still wonderful. But then yes, Harry Potter, the second book, because Tom Riddle is in this one, and I think that's probably my favorite character through the series, or at least one of them. I've got many, and I mean, yeah, because the Harry Potter books, they're more than just a book. If you could have any superpower, which would it be and why? I made a video about this on my own channel. It would be to control sound. I would basically use it to turn down the volume of the loud people, and also make people not hear me if I'm awake at night, as in I could listen to music, or I could empty the dishwasher and no one would be bothered by me making noises. What's your worst habit? I would probably say that I don't sleep when I'm supposed to. At night I find it very easy to just stay up and not go to bed on time. And a couple of nights ago I decided that I should change this by staying awake the whole night instead and not go to bed at all. So I did that, and then the next night I went to bed at about 1 AM instead. And then I slept for 12 hours and woke up 1 PM, and then I figured, well, okay, then the next night I'll stay awake again. I won't go to bed. So I did the same thing again, and then that night I went to bed at 8 PM instead, and figured surely I should wake up like at a normal time, around 8 o'clock the next morning. But instead I woke up 3 hours later and couldn't go back to sleep. My sister was watching TV, so I watched some with her, and then stayed awake for about 2 hours until I went back to bed again, and then I woke up at about 10 the next morning. And then you should think that, okay, she was able to sleep like a normal person after that, but no. The next night I again went to bed at like 2 AM, and then still, I don't know, no discipline. I think I'm trying too hard. What's your favourite memory? Probably when my sister and I were in London, or I lived in London and she came to visit me a couple of times, and basically all the time we spent in London. They're all my favourite memories. How we went to the Sherlock Holmes Museum and it was a complete fail because we were so disappointed, but we were still laughing at it and it was fun. Or when we'd been running around all day and we were both exhausted, and we'd sit down and Lillian would say, "Oh, Johanna, you should try this. Close your eyes." We went to Oxford and we couldn't afford to buy lunch, so we bought bread for £1 and ate that as our lunch. We found a bookshop that each book cost £2, which were kind of crazy, so we spent all our money on that instead of actual food. Yeah, actually, if we had money to buy books, why couldn't we buy lunch? Priorities. If you could be professionally good at something, what would it be? Mountain climbing. I believe that I'm good at mountain climbing, but I'm not. I've done wall climbing about 3 times in my life and were fairly good at it, but I wouldn't be as good today, and I'd probably go mountain climbing a lot. Show us your party trick. I don't really have a party trick. A few years ago I decided to learn all the flags. I learned all the countries around Australia and the small islands around there, and then also South America, North America, and Europe. And I started Africa, but that's when I stopped and I never really got to Asia. I know a bunch of flags, if that's a party trick. Who are some of your favorite YouTubers? I have quite a few favorite YouTubers. Obviously Hank and John Green, and then Brain Scoop. I think my all-time favorite at the moment is Kick the PJ. Then also Phil, Chris, Carrie, Alex, Charlie, Weezy Waiter, Say Frank, Michael Randa, and Books and Quills. But yeah, if I had to pick one, it'd be Kick the PJ at the moment at least. It changes quite a lot. That's it for my introduction video. I hope you all have a very nice weekend and I'll see you on Monday.